Today I just wanted to talk to you a bit about doing a blog on Squarespace. The best thing to start with is content gathering, and I'll just give you some bits of advice. It's best to get all your pictures that you want to use on your blog first, and also set out your content in Word. I normally try and copy and paste this without any formatting on, so it's a lot easier then to copy and paste it into your blog, and it just means that the erroneous, it doesn't bring any across any erroneous sort of fonts or formatting. What I tend to do as well, might be a good thing to look at doing, is just before you at the bottom of your content, just write down maybe what categories you're thinking of putting these in, and any tags, and that may be companies that you've mentioned or any hyperlinks that you want to do, and then get your hyperlinks or your websites ready. And then, so we've got our sort of text ready to go, and normally what I suggest with photos, as I said in our training, to try and keep them to a certain size. So what I normally suggest for landscape pictures is we keep to a maximum of about 900 pixels width, and then for portrait pictures about 500 or so maximum width. I mean, it can depend really on sometimes you get more square pictures, but if you try and keep sort of around those parameters, and if you highlight over your pictures, you'll get to see, it always does the width first, so you can get to see, oh, that these ones are pretty much, I mean, they're slightly over with 960, but I think as long as you're around that sort of mark, that's a good thing to stick to. And plus you can also get to see the file size. I mean, 50 kilobytes is brilliant from a photo point of view. It's a really small size. It's when you get to the bigger photos, if you look at this one here, that's 8.5 meg, 6,000 pixels wide, which is much too big. And often you'll get brilliant photos from photographers or something like that, and you can upload a picture and not realise that it's a massive 8 meg file. So it's just worth understanding a bit about the dimensions and the file size, and I'm now going to show you a little website, and we're going to sort of reduce this picture. So if you do get any big pictures like that, this is a website that's really easy to resize pictures. It's called picresize.com. It's quite a sort of simple interface. It says you can drag and drop, but I do find sometimes the drag and drop doesn't always work, so I always tend to click on it to actually search for the photo. So we're going to find this massive 8 meg file and click on it, and why is it not working? Let me try that again. It might take a while because it's a big file. I don't know. It was working just now. Okay, let me just press the continue to edit picture and see if it's just found it. Doesn't seem to be working at all. I'm just wondering if this is because I'm recording. It's doing something up here. I will press pause and see what's going on. It did actually work pretty much as soon as I pressed pause. It came up, and this is what comes up next. So it shows you the option here to edit and resize your picture. Now, the bit that we need to concentrate on is the custom size, and then just put in your 900, because this is a landscape picture. As I said, we do about 900 pixels for landscape maximum width, and then portrait about 500. They're all take. the width of the actual post blog post itself, if I show you, is about the sort of 900 mark. So it's just to try and keep the pictures in the remit of that sizing. So again, if you put 900 pixels wide in, don't need to worry about the height because it's just going to do it proportionally. You've got the option here to do good or better. I just tend to do better, unless I've got to be really stringent with file sizes. If there was loads and loads of pictures on a page and I was really struggling for space, then I'd probably do good. But in this instant, there's just going to be like a slideshow, so we go to better and then just say I'm done, resize my picture. And then it gives you the before and after file sizes, which is brilliant because it's gone down from 8.5 meg nearly to 148 kilobytes, which is brilliant, which is just what we need. So do save to disk and you'll see it pop up wherever, depending on what platform you've got. Show in folder. So I'll just copy this now and put it in my new, and I shall just get rid of that one. So now we're all ready to start putting and compiling our blog. So we're in the back end of Squarespace now, and the editable version. Remember that if you click up, you can't edit, but as long as you've got this editable window of all the pages here, then you can edit. So this is the summary of all the blogs. So you can't actually put a new blog in. You can only edit this page from this blog page here. So it's down. We have to look at where it's got the A next to it, and this is the area where all the blog pages are held. So if we click on that, and if you remember, this is being a bit slow today, this should come up with some blog pages in a minute. There we are. I just pressed refresh and it came up. I think it's been a bit slow today because I'm recording. So we've gone to the pages and to the blog pages, and we've got three blogs here. And if you go click on any one of those, you'll see the blog pages are sort of chronologically ordered, with the newest one at the top. So let's set up a new blog. Press the plus button over there and then you get this edit post. So if we go to our Word file, and if we just take the first line for this particular blog, biggest training row to date now complete. And if you remember on our training, we suggested that it's probably a good thing to get the pictures done first, and then you've got that visual sort of pull in of all the photos in one place right at the top. It's not making the blog really long, especially for those people on mobile with the text, if you've got quite a long blog entry. So if we click on the teardrop, and we're going to put in a slideshow, and you'll see this will come up with, I just put some random black and white pictures in there, but you've got this slideshow content and design menu. So if we just click on the upload images here, and we're just going to select all those images and press upload, open. We know that they've been resized and compressed, so they should take quite a quick amount of time to upload. Again, if you remember in our training, it sort of uploads it with certain settings already set up, so the cropping always is switched to on. So these are the settings I suggest you put. So turn on automatically transition between slides, and I normally put anywhere between 3 and 5, so we'll just put sort of 4 seconds. Show next and previous is always good to do. I would take the automatically crop images off so that it fits it right to the window. You don't need to show title and description, so I'll take that off unless you specifically want to, and I tend to set the background to transparent so you don't see the background colour, and then just press apply. Now the next thing we can do is add the text. As I said before, I've copied this and pasted this in without any formatting in Word, and that should help when you paste it in. And this means that you can go in then and put your own formatting in, so we can highlight heading 3s. That's probably the best option to do for the subheaders. Like that. If you need to do any hyperlinks, so let's get the AFC and put some hyperlinks in. What you do is you just highlight your text, press the link button up here, and paste in your link, and you'll see when it's worked, because it goes blue like a normal sort of any sort of Word or other sort of text editor. And we've got the ABF charity down here, so we'll put that as a link as well. It is good in blogs to have links out. As well as encouraging other people to link to your website as well. So again, just highlight and paste in. Say for example you wanted to add another like a video here. We can come down. Let's just close that a minute. And you see you've got that little teardrop. And let me just show you how we add an image and make it smaller, like we did on the training. So if we just add a few spaces and then add a picture. Let's upload the team picture, which we know is nice and small now. You can choose whether you want to put a caption there. It'll take the title. So I mean, at the moment I haven't titled these very well, but you might want to say like Rich in the boat, the team in Daphne, and Team Force Atlantic, and then when you've got that title, that would show up underneath. So I'm just going to switch that to off at the moment. Press apply. And if you remember, we got these spaces and we put them, you sort of have to jiggle them to they're the side and they're the same height as the picture. We do the same for the other side. That has made it very small, but you'll realise that when this gets applied, so it's good to have a bit of space under the text, but then that's just giving a bit of space around the picture. And this is more really for, I'll show you with the other photos that are longer, more portrait ones. And if you see, that's taken up a lot of room, and if you had a lot of those pictures and then a lot of text, you really would be scrolling a lot. So we could always move those spaces to the side. And you see that's just going to make that landscape picture fit the whole width, and then this is really determined by the size of the spaces, so it's quite good. You can manipulate pictures to being, and if you want to add a bit more space above, sometimes you find, I know for example that one's going to put a space across the whole width. It sort of juts out slightly to the left, and then you can put spaces that just build up under these other spaces, and you can click on them and make them bigger or smaller, these spaces. They are sort of your friend really. You can also add little lines to differentiate between certain elements in a blog. If you wanted to have a line after your text before your picture, then you can do that. You've got the option to add quotes with the text that you want. So let's just pretend this is a quote. It really is as simple as that. So that's how quick it is for you to set up a blog. As again, you can put videos in here, audios if it happens to be related to something on YouTube, or an audio file you've got off a radio interview, and there's lots of different types of gallery you can have. I tend to find the slideshow the best because it doesn't take up a load of room sort of vertically. That's probably all that you'll be sort of concentrating on. Button as well, if you need to put a call to action like remember to sponsor us. So let's put a button in here and just say donate to Force Atlantic. I could type. There we go. And you've got the option of a small little button, medium, and large. At the moment they're just black buttons, but I can make these red. I can change them if required to any sort of colour that you want. So that's and you obviously need to put a URL in. So if we go to Force Atlantic, wasn't typing, and we go to the donate to our charity, you can either click to this page or send them directly to the Just Giving, but let's keep them on the website. Donate to charity. And then press apply. Let me just show you what the settings say. If it was to go to the Just Giving, I would say open in a new window, because that means that it's going off the website and you want people to still have Force Atlantic in the background. But because we're hyperlinking to the same website, I would just keep the open in new window option pressed off and then press apply. So now we come back to the tags and categories. You know, if you remember, we looked and we were going to do training row, Sealand Army Foundation, college, and ABF Soldiers Charity. Let's get that right. So Let's just make that small. So tags. Put the sealant in. Press apply. And we've got training row already in there. Let's create a. So I was going to put the tags of Army Foundation College. Press enter, and the ABF Soldiers Charity. Press enter. So you can add as many different categories. As I said, we've got like preparation, ocean rowing, boat, ocean rowing events, but you may decide on your own categories. And the tags I just tend to be, if there's any companies or sponsors mentioned, any areas they've gone to, so if they've gone to Rannoch, I would mention them. If they've got any particular equipment on board that's mentioned in the blog, I just tend to mention it and try and hyperlink to it. It just backs up what their sponsorship deals are and helps with the sort of linking and the backlinks. We've got the comments turned off here, so if you click on that you can turn it on. And this is, if you were to press here, it would be draft. But say for example, I think we've got a note at the bottom here, schedule for posting Tuesday the 27th of August at 6 p.m. It's good to do posts and social media posts sort of in the evening. That's when people tend to look at things. So when I was doing Row for Victory, I tended to sort of work on things for a posting around sort of 6-7 o'clock. So if we click off that, press the draft and do schedule, and then click on the calendar. So we've got the 27th and then 6 p.m. and then do save. There we go. So if you look up on the blog pages on the left, you'll see that that's scheduled for Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And if you need to add anything, you can just go back in and edit. If you need to add more pictures, you can do that. Right, let's just talk quickly about the rest of these options across the top here. The options is for a thumbnail. It's taken the first picture, but I mean, you can, if there was a specific picture in there, if you didn't want picture of Rich, I'm just going to put that in anyway as a double check. If you were doing a press cutting, for example, and you needed to make reference to source URL, that's where I'd put the link there. Excerpts, I normally tend to put those in. If we were doing on the, if I show you on the blog post, you would get an excerpt under here if you had a lot of different blog posts, and it would show you the first couple of lines. That's what the excerpt's for, but I don't tend to put them on this instance. If you wanted to suggest it was a feature post, then it would say it was featured by clicking that. The SEO, I would tend to leave the title that it is, and then you might want to take some for the SEO description. I just tend to take something out of the blog that mentions Force Atlantic, or is a good summing up. So let's take this that uses the word Force Atlantic in there. Team Force Atlantic. So that just uses the word Force Atlantic actually in the description as well as the title, which just helps. So that's something that's sort of optional to do, but it does help with the search engine. The social, that this is when it gets posted on Facebook, Twitter, etc. This is to show you the picture that it's going to use, which is again is the same picture that we've used for the thumbnails, so that's auto generated. The share, this is where I'm just about to connect the website up to your Facebook or the Force Atlantic Facebook page. So this is where these would be connected. But when you press publish, it tends to say, do you want to share on your social media? And you just say yes anyway. And then location, as we said before, we could set this to Burnham on Crouch, or wherever, if you wanted to do that. So that's pretty much an overview. Let's just do save. And if we go to the blog pages, it shouldn't actually be shown up yet because it's not yet published. So yes, we've still got the three blogs up at the moment, because this one is scheduled to be posted on Tuesday. So I'm just going to delete that now. And we're back to the 3 original ones. And that's pretty much how a blog works.